Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. I want to check that my audio and video are streaming correctly. Let me put a pause on the music for a second. Uh, there was some issues I was having with the audio being delayed. So I want to confirm that. Let me open up my monitor here so I can notice if the video and audio are not buffering, because it was kind of weird on my last video. The audio was out of sync with the video, and I didn't like that at all. So let me check here to see. I have my own iPad that I use as a monitor.
G'day,
Oh,
fellas, and
that's not
welcome.
what I wanted to check. By the way, shout out to uh, Aussie, a commentator for Age of Empires, Aussie Drogo. I think it's exceptional. He shares one of the best contents about Age of Empires. If you like to play Age of Empires, that's a good channel. But let me check my streaming to see that everything is working as expected. As I check my channel, I'm gonna double check that my audio is mixed, is matching. Let me see. It's like it's a little bit too low. Let me increase the audio. Increase the audio. Okay, this is perfect. I think that what I was having issues with audio, so now we can get started. So that's great. Let me close this here. I don't want to have this streaming. Um, so what are we doing today? As you know, I am an engineer with 20 years of experience. I've been working on different startups in the Silicon Valley, from small startups. I was the third engineer on the team, to companies with hundreds of engineers, or even thousands of engineers on teams. I've worked on different scales of systems, large scale systems where millions or billions of events are being processed, and also with really, just getting started kind of applications. In this case, what I'm doing here is that with all these AI agents kind of fuzzing around and talking too much about that stuff, I decided to put myself into the position of saying, okay, is it even possible to go end to end on leveraging and creating a product without coding a single line? And the main aspect was like, okay, how far are these tools? How much of in-depth knowledge do they need? How much do I need to kind of guide the agent, and how much the LLMs can just manage themselves the changes? This is the day 3 of my work. Sorry, was like a little mosquito passing by. This is the day 4th of my journey, and what I found have been kind of like 3 main things. The first finding is that UI applications are easy for LLMs if they are very general, like very superficial. LLMs understand about buttons and different interfaces. Normally, LLMs have been kind of trained, and AI agents have been trained on React applications. I haven't had the chance to build on top of other UI frameworks or UI libraries like Vue or Svelte. That might be something we can, research later. The other thing is that it's very oriented into JavaScript, TypeScript, Node kind of applications. By default, when I decided to create, there was already like a JavaScript, TypeScript, React base foundation already set up for me. I have experience working with those systems, so I didn't have an issue with working with them. But overall, I think that there is some setup there. Additionally, when working with data modeling, database structures, There is also a setup already there that, as it were, with Replit was present, that was working with Postgres, using the Neon PostgreSDB, that is kind of like a serverless application for Postgres. And so far so good. Obviously what I've been working on is a very small application, so and I'm the only user, so I haven't had to do anything related to optimization or think ahead of like load or problems like that. um, how has been my interaction so far? Has been a lot of back and forth. Some major bugs actually have required for me to understand the code and tell the LLM exactly where to fix issues. Last session, I think we spent like half an hour just guiding the LLM to fix one stupid issue about navigation. So there is a little bit of that. Is that still, if you are someone that doesn't understand anything about coding, that you don't have any knowledge about, the languages you're coding in or the overall setup or the overall view of the system, you are gonna find that you're in a roadblock very often. Even if you ask and continue to ask and double ask questions to LLMs, the context and the depth of knowledge of that you need to unblock yourself is still a little bit high, in my opinion. I think we're still operating at a lower level system. So that's one. But enough for the comments. I think that what we want to go is get our hands dirty and get hands-on on the system that we're building. So to give context to people, let me show you what we have so far. And I built my own starting streaming zone page, but let me show you what Wendell is about. So this is Wendell, and I'm gonna be testing two scenes. I have this scene here that has my camera on the side and I see myself completely, and I have this one that is a little bit less intrusive, a little bit more like streaming. The thing is, I don't have a green screen, so the chroma key and the whole thing looks a little bit weird with my other camera than when I use this one here. The thing of this one is that I don't like the angle. I prefer the angle from this camera. But regardless, what we have on Wendell and what I wanted to solve for was that I had an issue with my family that we were overspending on groceries because we didn't follow a meal plan. We were just kind of like winging it day over day. And what happens is that you ended up spending too much money because you end up wasting a lot of the food you buy. And we wanted to solve for that use case of like, okay, how can we make a meal planner application that is very easy to use, but also that helps us manage our budget, our shopping list, and the things we're going to be planning to eat during the week. We love to cook, we enjoy cooking, so we don't have a problem with some, more advanced cooking recipes that require some techniques or certain utensils or certain tools, because we are okay with that. So there is some sort of part of like, we enjoy cooking, we like cooking, and we want to be better at meal planning. That was the problem we were having. So what I built so far were three parts. The first part was the meal planner itself. And this doesn't have the latest version. So I'm going to show you the latest version we have of the meal planner because I haven't deployed the latest version. In this case, we are leveraging and using a lot the Replit UI. And this is my first time working with Replit. I never used Replit before. I actually learned about Replit because I was doing an interview as a manager for Replit, which was kind of interesting way to know about the platform. So I haven't, as you can see, haven't synced. I'm syncing with remote. Just so for context, we have an open source repository that you can check out. You can search for Wendell AI, and you will see that all code is there if you want to start from there. The other thing that so let me just run the project here. So far, I like Replit. It has been very useful. I like the part that it has like batteries included with the at least databases deployments already in there, so you don't have to build these things from scratch, all these integrations that take a long time. And if you're a new developer, or you have like, you're touching, you're trying to kind of get better into context of databases, having that um, is a good way to get started. I'm going to open the web view here, and I'm going to open a new tab so we have better visibility. And first thing is that the login page, everything that you can see on the screen has been coded by AI. I haven't written a single line of code. From sign-in flows, sign up, menus, everything has been coded by the AI. So let's sign in, and the main page contains things like recent recipes, meal plans, and some marketing thing that we need to fix up. Even there's an AI generated image on the back and everything. That's very interesting. As I go to the meal planner view, let me go to last week, because that's where we worked last week. We were able to have like this weekly view that shows you, like, for breakfast, lunch, dinner, which recipes you will have for each one. We worked on having a way to view multiple meals, multiple recipes per meal. And if you go into a meal specifically, you can see the list of recipes, and that was it. The other thing that we have put some focus on is on the recipe creation. And recipes have this visibility, this view that allows you to see ingredients and instructions. We had some sort of like little side quest to start a cooking mode. We haven't finished it yet, so I'm not going to show you that. But also we added AI for recipe creation, so we can add recipes in different ways. We can add it manually by just typing things and adding ingredients and instructions. We can also add it by adding a prompt. And what this is doing in the back is asking to the Perplexity API, a list of recipes with sources. And then with the response back from the Perplexity API, we use Claude to format the response into a JSON that is defined, that has been defined by the LLMs themselves, and that creates a recipe. And finally, we have this upload image version that what we thought about is that we love a lot of recipes from cookbooks, and we have old cookbooks or cutouts from magazines, and we wanted to have this that we can take a picture with our phone, or we can upload a picture from somewhere that contains a recipe, and it can store the recipe here. So that's the other part. And I'll show you today how can we make this work, integrating another tool from the LLMs to make this happen. Finally, I wanted to work on a family dashboard that allows me to have a dietary preference by family members. Because my family, we have people that have different dietary preferences. They have different diets, they have different supplements that they need to take, they have different allergies, and we wanted to be able to influence the creation of a meal plan based on the dietary preference. We didn't want this to be kind of like, add things without thinking about it, because if we understood that if the family members and their dietary preference influences the type of meals you can add into your recipe Rolodex, let's say, and those recipes are the ones that are available in your meal planner. So we wanted to be able to attach together all things. So if you have, for example, if you have a family of 4, the planner needs to help me plan for the 4 members, and that we can have meals that we all can eat and enjoy together, or that we plan ahead and said, okay, we might need to do certain replacements here and there based on the dietary restrictions that different people have. So those are the 3 main things. What is missing, or what do we want to achieve today during this session? There are 2 things. One is we have a small bug on the meal planner that doesn't allow us to, the meal plan does not show for every week. It's just showing for 1 week that we created something, but the other weeks is empty, and I don't like that. The other thing is that we want the meal planner also to show me a daily view, so I can see specific days starting from today, the current date. very much like Google Calendar. And the last thing is that we need to be able to add recipes with images. I want to show you how you can leverage Claude image recognition to upload recipes from images. In the meantime, I'll have to pause for a second because I need to connect my phone that I'm using as a camera. So give me 1 sec, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So, as always, we're gonna trace up here some goals. So we're gonna say that the first goal is going to be daily. The next thing is gonna be image ingress. And finally, if we have time, I think that the next thing will be recipe matching. So, focusing on the first one, daily view, let's go to this one. And the way that I normally start is, and let's check the usage for where do we start today. That's something that I also want to keep eyes on, is my cost. And the cost helps you to identify how much are you spending. Let me see, usage is here, sorry. So for the current day, and I have been more active recently, we have spent $14.99, so almost $15 in our 4 sessions of 2 hours each. And that puts us around at $4 per session, and we are coding around 2 hours per session, so that's like $2 per hour is what we're spending on coding so far and on LLMs. $2 per hour, seems a little bit expensive, but so far, I mean, I think that we have overspent on debugging. I think that if we could, a lot of that I'll culprit on last session, where we spent a lot of asking the same question over and over and over and making stupid calls. I think that could have reduced usage, but that's okay. Let's move on, and let's go back to where the REPL is. What I will do is, remember, Replit, you have two things you can use, the agent or the assistant. The agent is 5 times more expensive, but it's going to help you build overall features faster, and it's kind of able to generate better context of the product. So in this case, what I want to do is just ask to help me build a daily view of the meal planner. So I'm gonna ask it, I have a weekly view of the meal planner. Would like also to have the option to see the meal planner in a daily view, which also allows me to go to today's day easily. What good solution for this, how would you solve for it? And what I've learned, this is a very interesting practice that I have done for these large elements, is that I ask the LLM to think through the solution before it even starts. Ask questions about what is a good solution and also how would it solve for it. And those two tricks have actually made the LLM. I imagine that there is some other LLM management, LLM prompting happening on the back at Replit. But what I've seen is that when I include these questions, I get better answers than when I don't include them. So let's see how this goes. And one other thing that I've been trying to see is if I can run two processes in parallel. Because sometimes I feel that it's very multi-threaded, where this thing is thinking, and it takes some time to kind of like think through a solution. It's a little bit slower. So while that is happening, it takes also some time for me to kind of like think and read through it. I will rather be like on another task. In this case, it says add a daily view to the meal planner with easy to the navigation. Meal preparation timeline, that's a good idea. And implement meal statistics for selected. I don't think that that's possible. Alt day-to-day meal planning copying functionality. I think this is something we can do in the future. I don't think we need to do that. So let's approve and start the plan. I added a new thing for meal day planning. Planning is very important. That's kind of like the big thing we're doing here is we want to have overview and planning. So far, it goes through explaining how it's adding the views, being able to toggle between weekly and daily views. It's creating a component right now for daily views, which is something I will have done as a regular engineer. It's like, okay, this looks like you will need to create a view and allow a toggle that allows you to go to a week planner to go weekly, daily, and also to take into consideration a date as a parameter that you receive on the top and the URL, and then consume that date in the view to show it and get the date for today and see and add some link on the top that allows you to go and navigate to today's date. That will be my plan. In this case, is creating the meal planner daily view and adding. There is some TypeScript errors when starting the application. Interesting. So this is all working in automatic. I am not touching anything. This is working. Let me play to the music so we can have some music while I'm not speaking. it's always very interesting that it decides to go to a DB and do changes here. You know, uh, there is always problems that start to happen when dealing with changes in the schemas. And what I like that the agent goes deeply into that. Now there is meal types from meal planner. Is generating new set of meal type maps, working on a more generalized solution. What I found is that as the agent goes deeper into the thinking, having the data structures, data modeling, the typing, all of that makes things much easier to work with than when you're working without them. And I like that. I like that the typing and the structure. Remember, that gives context to the LLM, and the LLM will be able to check it out. Let me see what are the technical issues that we are seeing. See the run. See what's going on. Why it's not starting. Initialization for 5,000. What's going on? Okay, TypeScript is not defined. So this is something very, very, very interesting. Seems like somewhere we added TypeScript as a requirement. So here is where it is. So what I would say is mincel.tsx contains an import, contains a TypeScript word. Yeah, sometimes I treat these AI agents as, still they still make stupid, silly mistakes like this one we just saw. That is that it is adding, a div into a system. It adds up words out of the blue, and that is what makes things harder to work with. But they can fix it themselves pretty easily. Let me check and see what is the thing preventing the application to run. And together. I'm really in love with the Tokyo Chill mix. That's what you have in the background. If you like it, this Tokyo Chill mix, DJ Kangta, he has great mixes, great music. This one seems to be working now. Okay. We saw the change. Now it's adding something to the meal planner page, to the selected date, and handling recipe selection. So far it's working as we wanted. Okay, we have the agent seems to be stuck in a cycle. Self-awareness, love it. The agent focuses specifically on investigating and fixing the application startup crash. Roll back or get an error analysis to see what's the startup failure. So let's see what's going on. Well, there was an import here on a button. There was some changes in the data modeling. Let me run and see where can I debug. And this is where I believe the problem is going to be for many people that is wanting to build from scratch on LLMs and agents, is that still there is some requirement to know deeply some of the work that you do with the LLM. You need to understand like debugging mechanisms. You need to understand how do you work with it. In this case, for example, I can connect, but there is still, seems that there are still some issues. So far, and these errors have been present before, we can fix them later. But if I go to today or go to the next week, the daily view, there is no way to select anything. No? If I go to the daily view for Friday, this works. But if I go, I can't select the, there is no easy way to view these things. I can see them from the map top, but it looks weird. But yeah, I think that, I don't know what is telling you that is not working. It looks, the application works well. Okay. So in this case, what we have is an agent. What we have here is a very interesting case of the agent thinking there is a problem, but while I test manually, there is not evident problem. I would love to have some sort of like manual verification agent that as it is reading through the context, it understands what is the aim, what are we trying to achieve, and it can automatically generate a test or run a series of UI changes that makes it easier to verify that changes are failing. Because the LLM does not have access to the behavior yet of the application that is building, it is not easy for the agent to understand if the failure is still there or not. Everything is kind of being taken from, can I start the application? Can I see it running? Can I read the logs and see if there is an error? Which are good indicators, but if error logging is not present correctly, now you might be getting wrong signals or false positives. So let's go back and see what's going on now. Okay. I think that the LLMs are missing some of the rational or logical systems in place that allows it to kind of deal with what I found working with the agent here for Replit is that the agent itself looks like a system of patched together LLM calls. And let me explain that in here. So I don't want to delete that, so let me make this larger. And what you have here is this way I can zoom in. So what you have here is this, is that how it seems to work is that you have the prompt coming in, and when the prompt comes in, it passes through a series of LLMs. The first LLM, I'm going to make this as an icon for the LLM. We'll break this, we'll kind of like talk about the problem. What do we need to solve for? Problem. Then it's gonna put some series of steps that another LLM is gonna work with. And then there is going to be some sort of other LLM that is doing validation. And then there is another LLM that is the one either coming back to this main LLM or finishing the workflow, but is the one that is in charge of the response. So this response LLM is going to be the one that takes this. So this workflow starts to look very and you can go back from step 1 to step 2 if something went wrong, or you can go from this step to this step and something went wrong. But I do believe that all this process will be replaced soon enough by an LLM model capable of logic processing. So that the idea from the problem itself comes from the LLM, that we don't need to, and we don't have to use this workflow system to manage things. We just have it done by a single LLM call with enough context. So context windows become very important. But yeah, let me fill this up. Let me roll out. We're back to our regular process. So this is where we are, daily view. Let's go back to here and see what happened. So I'm checking now to see how the application is working now with the daily view. And there is nothing done for today. There is something done for Monday, January 6th, that is last week. There is a way to kind of like talk about, there is some part of meal time prep happening there, very interesting. Now we're going to be working on this bug, and the bug is that first, this looks horrible. I don't know why this selector works like that. And there is no easy way to add a meal for a recipe for a given day. So I'm going to tell it this. So I'm going to go now back to work with the agent, and you should be hearing okay. Let me go back to the agent. And with the agent, what I'm gonna say is on both daily and the weekly view, need a button that I need to see I just received a notification from LinkedIn about someone playing games. Like, who in their own right mind is playing games on LinkedIn? Who? Like, who thinks that that's a good idea? I have to still see someone that considers that a good idea. My goodness. Okay. Okay, the meal sale, daily view, the daily view. Okay, see the preview list, the code changes. What it's doing is removing the recipe interface, setting add new view, and then using the meal types there. Let's apply this and see what we get. This side. Let's see. This is restarting. I think it's not right. Pick the name of it. There is something happening with this not clean meal plan for this week problem, and I think that I know what is the problem here. And if I go to the pages, I go to a meal planner, and I think that there is one view here that might have this one. And this is the part where I said in this case, again, I keep repeating myself, but the thing that I need to be showing deep in the code to understand what's going on, it makes the LLMs, and let me go down the volume, makes the LLMs great sidekicks, not very good at driving themselves yet. Let's apply this and see. This is solving for the use case of creating a new meal plan when there is something here. Oh, look at this. So no meal plan exists for this week. Do you want to start with a new meal plan? I would love to. I mean, this is resetting. Let's wait. It's taking some time. I would love to do this for this to be faster. Sometimes I think that local development might make this faster. But okay. There is now an error. I am checking that. I don't like the idea of having these checkpoints costing 5 cents. You know, it makes it too expensive, to be honest. Makes me think more clearly of what needs to be done. Let me go to today. Let's create the meal plan, and says use location is not defined. So now we have another different thing that is it looks like maybe the daily mode. So let's find where use location is being used. I think it's going to be on the daily view. There might be something called use location. Let's see if I can find it. Is it here? Is it in the meal plan table? No, I think it's gonna be meal plan. No, it's gonna be meal view. Okay, where is it? Where? And the meal cell. Okay, meal cell. What I'm doing now is I'm looking for the navigation to see what is it using to go from one place to the other. Seems like it's just using link from Wooter. Yeah. So I'll say let's see what happens here. Where are all the imports of this? And yeah, missing dependencies. This is stupid. Why is that? How does that happen? I can go and check the latest thing and see where was the error introduced. I think that when we talk about the client, the meal plan, meal cell had all its dependencies defined. Yeah. Something delete that. Yeah. Something happened there. I'm gonna apply it. And that is the thing that I don't like. That is an error that was introduced by the LLM that I didn't check correctly. Now it cost me 5 cents to fix and time, which is stupid. It shouldn't be costing me that much. Let's see if this works around. Okay, now the week of January works. Let's go to the next week. There is no meal plan for this week. Let's create one. And now it's empty, which is great. Let me go to today. I can see the daily for today. There are no recipes. Let's add one. I'm gonna create a new recipe. I assisted. I want to do huevos ranchero recipe. Dairy free. So in this one, again, the way I'm putting together the tools is that Perplexity is gonna search for existing recipes on the internet that make sense, and then Claude is gonna transform that to make it related to my work. So in this case, we have like a dairy-free vegan huevos rancheros, and in this alternative, tofu is scrambled with dairy-free alternatives and maintaining authentic flavors. So there's avocado oil, garlic, nutrition yeast, lemon juice, fresh black beans, salsa ranchera, pico de gallo, avocados, vegan sour cream, fresh cilantro, lime wedges, hot sauce, and it has the whole recipe, which is great. Let's create the recipe. And let's set it. Select this. So now we have the prep time, daily view. I am wondering how does that look in mobile. So what I imagine, I think that in mobile is still. We're gonna fix that table view to fit better mobile, and because it looks well. This size is really bad. Let's make iPhone 13. So there is still some issues with the weekly view. Obviously, it's gonna suck so bad, but the daily view should work great. I think the daily view is not very good. It's not optimized for mobile, and we can rework that. In that's something on the plans for the next version. But the daily view now works. I can add more recipes. The one thing that I see is that if I want to add, more things to the plan, let's see the pecan French toasts. I can go back to the meal planner, and now we have a UI problem. Go to today, and this works great. Let me add another one and see what happens with a third one. Back to the meal planner today. Now it adds one more, but it tells you like, okay, this is going to take some time. You might need to start at some point if you want to make them, side by side, which is great. I am okay with that approach. Let's add the classic cheeseburger here. Time to start cooking. So it tells you like how long does it take to cook, and at what time, how much time do you have to get started. I like that part. And let's add here the Cobb salad. No preparation time needed. This one, for example, it didn't have a preparation time, so I had to kind of like, I might need to add it up. There is no time for cooking. There is maybe 10 minutes for cooking, servings 4. Let's update the recipe. Anything missing? happening? Is there anything going on here? Yes. Take this. Oh, not updating. Is there anything else missing? I used to be able to update this. I don't know why it's not, but there's a bug there. Okay. But I can see here now today's meals and telling me what do I need to do today. I have my recipes. I have like the plans of the different weeks, and I can see it in a weekly view where I have today. I think I like the daily view as well. I think that when you have the daily view, you should be able to pass the days instead of passing the weeks. Yeah, I'll say we might want to remove this. Yeah, even in the weekly, we can actually remove. Yeah. Well, okay, I'm gonna pause for now, and we can pick up in an hour. So see you in an hour. We go to Wendell, and I'm gonna say stream, and which route was the one that we created for this? Remember, we created a page for break. A break. Say break. Initial break.
and back tickets. He was going to tow it with me in the car. So they one.
How's your mother? The bad thing about television is that everybody you see on television is doing something better than what you're doing. You never see anybody on TV like just sliding off the front of the sofa with potato chip crumbs on their face. Some people have a little too much fun on television. The soda commercial people, where?
Okay, I'm back. We're going to continue our process of developing 100% with AI agents. So far, we have made a good progress. And let me see if I can share with you guys what's happening. And let me go to this page and share where we are. But after having some lunch, I had some discoveries, some things I want to mention. Let me see if I can put them together. The first one is that the LLM interfaces are still, and the LLM workflows are still a little bit like stitching together LLMs to generate a specific business outcome. The problem that I see is that for these workflows to work, you need to have a way to generate these workflows in a repeatable and consistent manner, and you need to have observability on top of those workflows. So you will need to kind of define the steps that the workflow needs to take. You need to verify, like if you have even any path where you can have a bifurcation in the logic, or where you need to have retrieval and feedback loops. All of that makes your application harder to maintain, and it requires a lot more of code to verify. What I see as a near future improvement is logical capabilities, or adding more rational based capabilities into the software, into the LLMs, so they are able to make their own logical decisions without the necessary workflow management. So in a sense, instead of having 4 or 5 LLMs that are all stitched together in a workflow, similar to what NAN does or Make does, what you have is that your agent, or the agentic properties of an LLM, are all encompassing one single LLM instance that when a query is received, it has the ability to process it and generate the steps automatically inside the prompt. So you actually will overload your LLM with a context big enough and clear enough and succinct enough and concise enough that the LLM is able now to apply the logical steps that they see fit, that the LLM sees fit. And what that means is that what you expect as an outcome is the same thing that you can evaluate with the input. You don't care anymore that much about, and I think there is going to be some sort of self-introspection of the LLM telling if there is a capability that is missing. So if you're asking it to retrieve data or generate certain type of output, the LLM, if it doesn't find in itself or in the tools available at hand, the required tools to make those things happen, the LLM should be able to tell back to the creator what tools are missing. Or even so, I even think that it should be able to create them on the fly if it's fit. So there's like an automatic generation of tooling to fulfill a task. But that's a little bit more advanced. I think at the beginning, what we need and what is missing is a highly logical structure for LLMs that can take a query can take a set of tools and can resolve a task on its own, that we don't need to have this, continuous loop of LLM talking to another LLM, talking to another LLM, and going back and forth and doing RAG and doing all that, and having to codify or structure those workflows. Instead, having a single LLM with high logical capabilities build the workflow themselves the first time and run through the workflow as they see fit. That will remove complexity from the code and will drop it into a highly logical system that only requires you to verify outputs, but it doesn't care about dealing with recoverability, retriability, error recovery. All of that is baked into the LLM's logical pathway. So I'm very hopeful for that. But because we don't have that now, what we will need to do is, well, keep working on what we're working now. That is dealing with these AI agent systems. So going back to our application, what we have here is our meal planner. There is this, in terms of design, there is this P6 class that I think I want to remove. I want to remove this whole border, this whole card. I think that it's not adding any purpose. It takes too much space, and things look better when that is not present. So I'm gonna first update the design so we can remove that. And then the other thing I want to fix is that when you navigate on the daily view, we don't want to move from week to week. We want to move from day to day and see how that works. So let's go back to our system. If I'm correct, this meal planner view, what we have now, and let me see how are in the chat. Okay, I'll share. Let me see if I can share this to tell people that are live streaming at YouTube. Let me share this with people. Have you ever tried Starboard? It's kind of like competition for Chick-fil-A. It's not as good as Chick-fil-A, but it's decent. Okay, so going back, one thing that I wanted to do is remove from the view this card content P6. Even having it as a card, I think that it makes no sense. So I'll say I'm going to select the code. I'm going to say there is nothing on the card that is, it's only the content of the card. So I'll say I'm going to just add a context and say remove let's see if this is enough. It seems like it does what we needed. Remove the card. Now the card is not present. There is still a little bit of padding that I don't like. and it's the P6 from the diff. I knew I needed to remove that. Let's say this. Let's say remove the padding, and this is the part that it makes things expensive for me because I pay for that specific change, and it's too expensive for me. That okay. So daily view, weekly view. Let's fix the weekly view. So let's say we're gonna make the recipe list smaller. Let's fix this with the agent. In the weekly view of the meal plan, the recipes are overflowing the cell and make things hard to read. What can we do to solve it? Let's see what's happening here. So the meal cell, what we have is the recipe time is truncated. We also truncate this. I think that we might need to say that if the recipe length is more than 1. I think that we will need to update that as well. Let's apply and see how that looks. I love how in the stream my face is just right there up inside the box model. That looks good. Okay, so the thing that I see is that now, let me add a recipe here. Why is Bitwarden being obnoxiously obnoxious? I don't want Bitwarden here. Don't show me that. Let me add recipes here and see what happens. Something with more letters. Something with more letters. Something with even more letters. Oh, I see. So if I add recipes to all of them, this is going to become super huge and difficult to read. But here, now things become much simpler. So, okay, now we are not having the issue of, but I don't like the vertical scroll. I think that what we might need to do is make those buttons on this view much simpler in terms of like making it really small. And the web view needs the weekly view just mention that there are recipes, for each one of the days. I'm gonna create a new chat, and I'm gonna say when navigating the daily, when on the daily meal plan view, I want to navigate through the dates. I want to use the navigation arrows next to the date selector to move me back and forth daily. And in the weekly view, I want them to navigate me back and forth weekly. Very simple. The view mode, now it's there. Now there is the navigate. And you change the name to navigate week function, but to navigate, right? So now it's called navigate. The thing that I don't see though is updates on the buttons. Yeah. These chevrons need to be updated. So I'll say now this should do the work. Okay. It's not doing it. So not doing it. It didn't do what I needed to do. So I might need to might need to rerun this. The problem is that when I rerun this, it will charge me for, a problem on that, and that's something I don't like. That I'm paying for a problem that now should be easily fixable, but is not being fixed correctly. So yeah, I'm becoming something that needs to be changed here. Was the change done already and I didn't know? Okay, maybe I am seeing the wrong thing. Was the change done? Oh, it was done. I'm an idiot. Okay, and that's easy to say. The change was already done, and I was not aware of that. Okay, so let's move on. Let's apply these changes of new APIs that were used, and let's see what happens here. Okay, let's see. Let's go back to Tokyo, to DG Kanta. This guy has the best. Let's put some of that. Okay, so if everything goes well, the next day we will see here is going to be Tuesday. Yes. Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, nothing here. This works. Go to weekly. I check the weeks. There are no plans for these weeks. Go to daily. Goes to one of the days in the week. Okay, great. So let's go to today. And I see, okay, I have like a couple of things in my plate. Prep time. This prep timeline is too intrusive, but I'm not going to fix that today. I want to see how that works in mobile view. I think that, I'm going to ask for better visualization for this, because even when I click on this, I want the navigation of the dates to appear below. So let me see how we call this. Do you have any name for that? I don't think so. But what I see is that we have the calendar, we have the meal planner, we have this body that contains today. Okay, let's extract out all the functionality that relates to navigation and selection. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna create a new one. I'm gonna say refactor the meal planner view to extract the calendar navigation. Then update the CSS to make it responsive. So when the user is on mobile, the today button on the calendar, on the calendar drop down, including the chevron buttons, show wrapped below the weekly, daily buttons. Okay, let's see how that works. Hopefully this is a big chunk that is worth the 5 cents. But I find it's small changes using LLM agents are very expensive. You need to give them chunky tasks that allows to extract out all the logical and practical implementations. What you're looking for is like small one-liners, two-liners. I think it's going to be too expensive to use them and leverage them. During my exercise, I found that it makes no sense. Normally, if you need to update and do one-liners, the best thing you can do is to mix it together with other changes so you can get the best bang for your bucks. So let's continue. In this case, calendar navigation was moved and the meal planner was used together. The calendar navigation view now is refactored and it has now the visibility. There is a items flex. I can see the today button. I can see the other button there. There is, look at this, the visibility for mobile applications. The trigger is moving to another place. That's overall looks good. And then let's see the implementation here. It's now adding the removing the UI calendar, adding the new calendar navigation component, and removing all these things for the calendar navigation component that I think is gonna be even. It didn't cut enough, so I'm gonna apply all. I still believe that it's gonna require more. Yeah. So debug with AI. So I'll say fix it. Now it's using the changes. The thing that I see, I'm going to apply this. I still think that there is too much code and duplicated code. I'm going to need a new one. Deleting code is one of the hardest things that LLMs do. They can't easily deal with that aspect of deleting. So I'm gonna try it out to see. Seems like, yeah, it removed the thing that it needed to remove. And let's see. I was hoping it to delete other parts, but I think that it deleted the things that I wanted. So I'm happy with that. So that's what we just did. We worked on a refactoring process where we took a large code that was put inside one component. We asked the LLM to take it out. We asked the LLM to re-see the old code to make sure that it removed the old pieces. Normally in a regular thing, you will be able to do that in one single take. In this case, it took us 3 steps to make it happen. So yeah, maybe probably the prompt that I used before, I should have included clean it up and removing duplication. So we need to take that into consideration, that when you're doing refactoring and you are removing one code and moving a module to another file, make sure to add in your prompting that you remove duplicate code from the original place where it was located. Okay, let's see how that works. If the meal plan review with the calendar now works better for mobile. Look at that. Look at that. Now this looks better. Yes, this is fantastic. So now we can see today, and I can go to the weekly view. The weekly view sucks. So we will need to fix this. So, it looks smaller, but I think the daily view gives you by default what you need. So what I'm gonna do is make the daily view the default thing. And if you want to add more things, you can just, go here and do the thing as you wish. And yeah, I think the daily view it's much more powerful. And yeah, that's a good one. Interesting change. It's not applied yet. When it's applied, this just resets. There you go. And still, we have the same issue. Even if you were to, I mean, it's working, but it's not working. I think that the recipes sell, it's too big. And I think it might be better if we, yeah. I think that it might be better to put the title on top and make the width of the button smaller. What is this? Is this a card? Yeah. So I'm gonna say in the daily view, move the me type name be the top of the recipes column. I think that that's going to be the best case. Is that for the daily view, we don't need the table view. We need it for the weekly view. What if we don't need it for the daily view? And it's going to make things much, much simpler. Look at that. There you go. Love it. Much better. Much better. Much nicer. Let's clear this out, remove it. Back to meal planner. Let's delete. And let's remove everything here. It just says add the recipe, which is great. Meal planner for today. Add a recipe, no preparation time needed because there is nothing here. If I want to add a recipe in here. What is happening here? What? Okay, let's figure out what's going on. Okay, now it's working. It was not working as expected before. Very weird. Let me check this out. Let me edit to say that this takes 10 minutes and 10 minutes. I noticed this bug. So let's fix this bug right away. So in this case, I'm testing out different ways to interact with the LLM to figure out which one gives me better responses. Handle submit is the thing that was missing. I would pay for making these refreshed views faster. It still takes a long time to get this done. and to have this automatically refreshed. I mean, I love that it's deployed automatically. Let's see if I can fix that part of the edit recipe where I can add the prep time. Still nothing happens. Because there's an unauthorized request, I don't care. I want to update the recipe. I don't click in, nothing happens. And I can go to a recipe manager and see what's going on. So let's go to a recipe manager and see what's going on. I believe that the submit button is not working when I'm trying to edit. Unhandle submit. So on handle submit, it says that if mode is create, this is not the mode else. If recipe, there is no recipe else, update recipe, subset recipe updated. There you go. The thing that I see is that the update recipe is not being even sent. If I go to a network, I'm fetching the recipes, but when I want to click on update, the update, I cannot even click it. So, I mean, I can close the model if I want to edit the Cobb salad. Okay, something is not allowing me to do that. It's not doing anything. So let's bring it back and say freaking recipe is not updating. It's not working. Okay. I'm not going to stay in that bug. One thing I wanted to show you is that before they had this image analysis, analyze recipe image that was integrated with the recipe image upload recipe generation. And how it worked was, let me show you. So the idea here is that many times when you're uploading recipes, what it happens is that you have like a cookbook or some other sources where you have a recipe that somebody shared, like a note or something, and you want that recipe to be added to your list of recipes, and you want to store that, and you want to have it like easy to organize, easy to edit. Maybe you might want to make changes because you have some preferences, and it's very hard to do that in regular ways, but with LLMs and with API and AIs, you will be able to make that. So I built something that allows you to upload an image, and that image, if it contains a recipe, it will generate automatically a recipe for you. So let me show you an example. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to search in my photos for a picture that I took some days ago. Let's see if I can find it easily so I can share with you. I think I have it here. 1 second. Most recent, the screenshots. Let's call it recipe. I have it here. So in this case, let me export this. Let me export this image. And I'm going to export it, put it as JPEG, put it in desktop. And this is how it works. I'm going to create a new recipe for dinner. I'm going to create a new recipe from an image. The image that I have is from Carnitas recipe. And is there any way I can show this here? Maybe. And let me see if I can show you the image. Yes. So the image here is from a screenshot that I took on my phone that has an Instant Pot crispy carnitas ingredients. It tells you the ingredients for the mojo sauce and lots of it. I want to see if the LLM can take over this screenshot and convert it into a recipe that I can use. So I'm going to browse, upload the image, and let Claude work. So let me. I was not sharing my screen. I'm so sorry. Let me start over. So something happened here. Let me show you. The image looks like this, and what it's telling me that the response is not correct. I want to check what happens with the response. Oh, the response is empty. The request is the image. Okay, interesting. Let me go to a code and see what's going on. I have another image. Let me see if I try another image, if it works better. I have one recipe for see if I can find it for rice. Yes, I have a sushi rice recipe. Let me see if I can export it, and I can show you uh, what does it entail. So this is the image, and it's a sushi rice recipe that I took from another site. So I want this to be an structured recipe that I can store and save. So the way that you can do it is you can browse, select the image, and there is something happening that's telling me that there is an error. And the error is very interesting because the response is not coming in, it's not coming back correctly. So what I'm going to tell it is that analyze image recipe, analyze image API seems like it's not existing. So let me go and check what happened with the route of analyze image. We used to have an analyze image API, so something happened with that got deleted. So let's check. That's another one of those that the routes get deleted. So let's get on the history and see if there is anything that so here's the route. This is the route that we wanted. So I'm gonna actually say I'm gonna tell it that there was one. This is another trick: is ask the LLM to create documentation. It's even more important than creating tests. Let's see if the new endpoint works, and that's what it needs to do. The sushi rice recipe. Failed to analyze image. Oh, there was a problem. Failed to analyze image. Now we have a real issue. Let's go to the console and see what happens. Analyze recipe image is not defined. Oh my goodness. Um, what is the latest change? Something is kind of. I'm gonna reset. After a time, I have to reset the Replit agent because it becomes too slow. Dude, you didn't import it from the free clean. This should now we have fixed the issue. New sushi roll recipe should work. Okay, we have an issue again. Let's check what's going on here. Let's close all these routes things. Why have the shell twice? Why have the shell again and again? Too many shells. Let's check the console. What happened? What? I've been. I just like 30 seconds. I'm not gonna care about this. I think I've been silent too much time. I mean, I haven't like a copy strike because of the music. I'm gonna just remove the music. I don't care. Uh, Media type, the routes now have the media type, and the cloud uses the media type. A media type. Oh, media type. Okay, let's apply. It's okay. It seems like it needs to be a PNG file, and what I have here on my library, it's JPEGs. That was the issue. Okay, so it needs to be PNGs, and I uploaded. Okay, JPEGs. It should it should support both formats. So hopefully this will make it. And yeah, we're about to finish today's stream. I shared a couple of things on LinkedIn and X. I love it. I think that it's been very interesting to see the progress here. Tomorrow, I'm going to work on making this marketing oriented. I'm going to see if how much of this we can. I wanted to, if there's anything we can do to make it more efficient and also more marketing oriented. Let's see if we can have some sort of way of make it more so that LLMs can right now that it has much more context, can work together on making better meals, better recipes, better generation, but also better marketing suggestions. Okay, we're gonna upload a JPEG. Let's see if the JPEG works. It should work. Looks like it's gonna work. Now we have a failure again. Okay, I can change this to be a PNG to see if the PNG actually makes the work better. Okay, so the problem that is happening here that I can see is that the response from the LLM, it contains this title, description, instructions, and says cloud image analysis response. And I want to see why there is a problem here. Why is it returning as an array? I think that that's a problem. It should not be returning as an array. Again, me dealing with the specific technicalities, which is this was working before, which is the thing. If you see, there was an implementation in Claude that said how it needed to follow the structure, and the structure was that. I think that there is something in there that was missing. And in this case, it's saying like, okay, if there is an array, return an array. I think that there is another part that says, I think that there is some part of like the part that's on the top. Yeah, the formatted JSON. Okay, let's see if this does the work. Yeah, at this point, after like 3 or 4 hours, I started to get tired. Even if it's only checking the UI, the AI doing the work, I mentally start to get tired. And even more with these things, that kind of frustrates me a little bit because it was working before and it got deleted, which is kind of like we might need to do a system to improve prompting inside the application itself. Let's see if I can add a new recipe for the sushi rice and see if it works. Okay, it's failing to analyze the image again. Go to a console. I actually don't care about seeing this base64 image. I might need to delete this. Oh, now I know what is going on. We updated the data schema. We didn't make that dynamic. So here's the problem. Our data schema is hard-coded in this analyze image recipe. It's hard-coded. So it's hard-coded in here. But this changed. And now the data structure is different. It has a different requirement, but we didn't change it. So the response is going to come different, you know. No, but I don't need this. I need this. I need to. Okay, this is last part. There you go. There you go. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. We might need to, uh, refactor so that is dynamically generated from the changes in the data schema. But yeah, we might need to document some of that. Okay, let's see. We're about to finish for today's session. Create a recipe from the image. And let's see if that's what I need to do. Okay, there is a problem again. As always, I think that now what I know is happening is that this array parsing thing is not correct. I don't want to see I'm going to upload to remove the log for that. Okay, this is the last change. What we wanted to achieve today was we have the daily view done, which is great. Oh, we have the daily view done, which is great. We did it. Congratulations. Double check. And we are working on the image ingress. We will work tomorrow on the recipe matching. So let's see that the image ingress works correctly, and we will call it a day. And we should be good now. Now that the image validation and the schema structure is now more stable, we should be able to generate a recipe successfully. And it's here. Yes, here is the sushi rice recipe. That if I compare it with this one, it says combine 1 cup of rice and 1 cup of water in an instant pot, pressure cook the rice mixture, close the lid, and simmer 10 minutes. Once completed, if making sushi rolls, add half a cup of rice vinegar, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 2 tablespoons of sea salt to a bowl. Mix until combined and add to rice and fold gently. If I go here, I said a pressure cooker method for making seasoned rice using an instant pot. And it has all the recipes with a note for sushi rolls, like the mixture, and it was able to completely easily mix it together. So, so far, pretty good. It works as expected. It has a total time of 70 minutes. If I go to, today's meals, and or maybe to my meal planner for today, I can now add the sushi rice to my meal, and it has the preparation. So we can successfully clear a day. I think that we had a great time today. We were able to accomplish a bunch of tasks. Let me share before we finish the expenditure. So for usage, let me see if I can find it out easily. We finished with $16.76. So pretty good usage for today. And yeah, we will keep going tomorrow. Thank you for connecting. And I hope this exercise helps you identifying better practices and shortcuts and ideas of how to collaborate and work together with AI agents on coding, specifically leveraging the Replit agent. And that's it for today. I hope you have enjoyed it, and thank you for connecting. Bye-bye.